Mr. Bongani.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot for making time.
Thank you so much. It's good to be in my second home, Kenya. I love this market.
Okay.
So it's good to be here. And of course, always engaging with you. It's always a pleasure. So thank you so much.
Good, thanks. It's always been a pleasure working together. Just to kick this off, you recently rebranded to 54 Collective.
Yes.
What does this mean with regards to the new mission and vision for the company?
The idea of this evolution into 54 Collective is really an expansion, right, into an ambition of being able to be in 54 countries in Africa. Secondly, Pan-African for us means that we continue to double down on our mission of being local. So the idea for us is to really break the barriers and challenges that we consistently see in various regions in Africa. And our goal is to help entrepreneurs to start to think about the entire Africa as an opportunity to build and serve customers, right? And so this evolution helps us in that thinking, in broadening our horizon. Both founders and collective basically is building with other investors, our team, and the partners that we have built across the continent to essentially help entrepreneurs to build without boundaries.
Just to add on what you've said around the change to Pan-African basis, basic company. How do you say that 54 Collective differentiate itself from a traditional VC firm in terms of support for startups across the continent?
We've realized that capital is important, but it's not the whole story. So the importance of us building a support structure to help entrepreneurs is actually quite important and unique. And I think I'll add the third thing, that you consistently have to find a very differentiated model from a capital perspective to support entrepreneurs. Because VC in itself is, you provide equity, so you provide capital for equity, right? And that's it. And what we have seen is that three things combined are very important. One, a large team that we've built, a venture success platform that we've built to provide services or hands-on support to entrepreneurs for free. That's very unique. There's no VC in the continent that has got that amount of support to entrepreneurs for free. The second thing is that we provide catalytic capital. And that means it's a combination of two things. We, from our fund, provide capital of up to $250 US in exchange of equity. But we also have a non-dilutive loan. In the market, we call it a debt capital of up to 250, of course, depending on the stage. Again, that's very unique. And the reason for that is because we've seen early stage ventures, they actually die quickly because either they don't have enough capital raised through equity to essentially build and test and de-risk their model. So we have given this capital, especially in this funding winter, to extend the runway of entrepreneurs. And over and above that, we have seen quite a lack of support to women founders. And we intentionally drove the idea of, if you're a women-led business, you're coming into 54 Collective, we topping up over the male counterpart with an additional 150,000 capital to women founders. And that is important because what we want to do is we want to start to increase parity of investments between women and male counterparts.
Most of the time we've relied on foreign capital.
Yes.
To fund our African startups. And especially now during the winter, once the foreign VCs, once the market rises up, the foreign VCs are not there, we need our own kind of solutions.
Yeah.
Just paint to us a picture of what's happening, what's happening in the system at the moment.
Yeah.
And what you see happening in the next few years.
Markets consistently have cycles. And if you're an investor, you're focusing on these dips of ups and downs. You will consistently buy and sell, and you'll never get to a place of scale, right? So the question is, can you find businesses that are very unique, that have a moat, that over time, regardless of the spikes, they will continue to build value. That's one. Number two is that when we talk about a funding winter, we don't talk about money disappearing in the world. We are just basically saying that investors are deciding to invest in most unique opportunities. And we have seen during COVID that businesses were still getting capital even during that winter period. As an early stage business, can we build opportunities, businesses that focuses on fundamentals, that helps our portfolio companies, whether it is winter or not? Great businesses typically will float to the top. And that's why even during the funding winter, some businesses still get capital because of that, just great businesses. And the question is for us as 54 Collective, can we help these businesses to essentially find ways to build without boundaries, solve some of their local barriers to enable them to grow and scale? Africa currently, it's a $3.5 trillion market, right? If you go to the US, NVIDIA, one business, it's over $3 trillion. Africa in itself, I think it's still in a quite low base of liquidity, and I foresee that the next few decades will still get capital from outside. The trick and the importance of how we're going to solve the question that you've asked is VCs needs to use the capital that we have to build great businesses, enable founders to exit. When they exit, the hope is that those founders, they will take that capital, put that capital back into the market in order for us to start to see a flywheel effect in our own markets. That's one of the ways in which we can start to see capital revolving. The second way is we need to continue to educate Africans, both corporates and high net worth individuals, about VC as an asset class and how investable it is, and giving them a sense of how we can de-risk VC as an asset class.
Interesting. As we wind this up,
yeah,
what advice will you give to an early stage startup founder, who's in the early stages of starting up?
One of the most important thing is we need more bold and visionary founders in Africa. When you look at African founders in many ways, if we can help them to think about scale, to think about Africa as a huge geography and an opportunity to build and scale, that is very, very important. Africa has 54 countries, and only 11 countries out of 54, they are contributing 70% of our GDP. So that tells you that there's lots of markets or countries that doesn't have enough customer base, enough liquidity, and they wouldn't necessarily provide you scale. So the idea of being visionary and understanding those dynamics, it is important to how quickly you build your business and scale your business. And you need to understand the dynamics of various markets in order for you to be able to build and scale. And I'm not suggesting that you need to just go to another country for the sake of it, but I'm saying you need to be bold enough to understand that your solution can actually serve more than your local market.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Bongani.
Thank you so much.
For those great insights.
Thank you.
Looking forward for Collective's new their approaches and what happens the next few years, and really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
really appreciate your time.
Good.